There's so much happening in Alabasta. I'm stressed. I literally switched to taking physical notes so I can keep track of everything that's going on, but also because I think it'll be fun to go back and reread these once I'm caught up on the manga. Speaking of, I'm going to cover up to chapter 179, but I am going to talk about some things that happened later in the manga that were spoiled for me. So if you are not fully caught up on One Piece, here's your warning to swipe away. We're going down a little ace rabbit hole, kiddos, so buckle up. You guys are going to get like a front row seat at my chaotic brain. But okay, so when I first started sharing my One Piece journey, there were like 5 or 6 people that just commented ace dies on every video. I've blocked them, but I don't think they're real One Piece fans. It's just people that get a kick out of like ruining things for other people. And joke is on them because it has actually made Ace's introduction so much more emotional. Side note, I don't know when he dies or how he dies or anything surrounding that. So do not say anything about it in the comments, please. But anyway, I think most of you guys know that I started reading One Piece for my brother, and it's something that's helped us connect even more. And as an older sister, I have 2 younger siblings. Like, you have that innate need to like protect your younger sibling. Reading this panel where Ace tells Luffy that a brother like him makes him worry hit me right in the feels. I'm feeling a little extra sensy this week. So the beginning of this arc hit me right in the feels. I still have so many questions about Ace, his background, when he became a pirate, when he ate his devil fruit. So we know that he ate his devil fruit after Luffy eats his gum gum fruit, because Luffy does mention that he still couldn't beat Ace after he first had his gum gum fruit. But then at what point does Ace have his? When does he become a pirate? When does he start to follow Whitebeard? I have so many questions. But where the real rabbit hole begins is, so another thing that was spoiled for me is I do know that Dragon is Luffy's dad. I know, people suck. But then the first thing I noticed is, okay, so Ace, Dragon, and Luffy all have the middle initial D, just like Roger. So like that has to mean that they're all related to him somehow, right? But then I also started to think that Luffy and Dragon both have the last name Monkey, but Ace doesn't. So like, what does that mean? Is he Dragon's kid, or is he not Dragon's kid? Right now, what I'm thinking is, see, this is like, okay, so I feel like Roger's their grandpa and like maybe he's Dragon's dad, but that doesn't explain why Ace doesn't have Dragon's last name. I don't know. See, this is where the rabbit hole begins. Anyway, I love Fire Fist Ace, even though we only spent like 5 or 6 pages with him. I love him. And I really hope I get to spend more time with him before his demise. And I want to learn more about Blackbeard and Whitebeard. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, I really love all the different animals of Alabasta that we're being introduced to. The Kung Fu Jugons, I think that's how you pronounce it, are so freaking cute. And I have a feeling they're going to come back and somehow help the Straw Hats, considering they are now devoted to Luffy. I don't understand how Vivi's dad did not realize that Crocodile was shady. Like, sir, you're a world's leader. You know that there's corruption within the system. You know that you are currently being framed for something that you did not do, but the dude that was a pirate that turned on other pirates, that's currently running the casino in the gambling city that happens to be one of the only places on your island that is flourishing during this massive unnatural drought. No, he's not shady at all. I'm still trying to understand Crocodile. Like, I truly don't get his end game. He keeps talking about this utopia, but he is destroying the people and the actual physical island. So there has to be a natural resource that he wants to exploit. That's what I'm thinking. Otherwise, the way that he's going about trying to find this utopia, to me, does not make any sense. There are also a couple of Boroque Works agents that I am still trying to nail. For example, Mr. 3, I think I've come to a conclusion that he is like a bad guy, but he's nuanced. And like when he told Luffy, like, friendship isn't measured by the amount of time spent together, I just made some new friends. I want him to have a moment of goodness so bad, but not as much as Miss All Sunday. I do know that she's Robin, and I do know that everyone loves her, but I don't know why. And I keep waiting for her to do something good. Like, I see that she's like smirking in different panels, and we're inching towards something. I just don't know what that something is. When I read Luffy versus Vivi as a chapter title, I was really worried that we were going to get like a weird Luffy versus Zoro type moment. And I was so happy to see it was Luffy yet again having another moment of brilliance and telling Vivi to lean on her friends and to not try to take on this burden all by herself. I think this has been a very good arc for all of the boys, most of them. I have been waiting for Sanji to have his moment to shine, and this was it. I love Sanji. I literally have Mr. Prince with a little heart next to it in my notebook. When everyone was in the cage, I was so stressed. I actually forgot that Sanji and Chopper weren't in the cage. Like when Arlong was walking out and Sanji called, I was like, wait, who is it? Because I was so in the moment that I completely forgot that they were out there somewhere. And I love that he got his opportunity to save the day and kick ass. The whiplash in this arc is real because as much as I enjoyed the Straw Hat's escape, Luffy versus Crocodile had me sweating. Like, yes, I know that ultimately Luffy will be okay, but this is the closest I've seen him coming to like, aside from like Arlong was a tough fight for him, but this fight, every single time, I thought he was finally going to land one or finally gain the upper hand. Crocodile had, I mean, his skills with his devil fruit powers are just so much more advanced. And Luffy, I don't know how Luffy's going to make it out of this one. I am very concerned. Crocodile is just like straight up evil. The fact that he is targeting Toto because he knows that Luffy cares for him is just like such a dick move. Speaking of him, Toto, he finally reached water. Like this man has so much belief in Alabasta and the king and what they stand for that even when his son was out there leading the rebellion, he was like, no, I'm going to stay true to this country and to my king. Also, where is Smoker going? The fact that Smoker's just like, okay, cool, Tashigi, you deal with this mess. Everything's on fire, but like, I have something to go do. Okay. Um, anyway, well, Mr. Three seems to have 17 lives. He's still alive, and now everybody's coming together for what I hope is going to be the big Avengers showdown. So I guess we'll see what happens.